General Corvin leaned back in his ornate command chair, watching the human delegation file into the peace negotiation chamber aboard his flagship. The massive Terran vessel had docked with his dreadnought an hour ago, and now these primitive beings stood before him, seeking terms for their inevitable surrender. "Welcome, humans," Corvin rumbled, his forearms gesturing dismissively. "I trust your journey through our blockade was educational." The human delegation consisted of 5 individuals in simple gray uniforms. At their head stood a woman with short auburn hair and piercing green eyes. Her name was Diana Cross, according to his intelligence reports, a former military officer turned diplomat. Behind her stood Captain Torres, Admiral Kane, Dr. Williams, and Lieutenant Hayes. "General Corvin," Diana said, her voice steady despite standing before a being twice her height. "We've come to discuss terms for a ceasefire." Corvin's mandibles clicked in amusement. "Terms? You speak of terms when your fleets burn in the void? When your colonies fall one by one to our forces?" He gestured to the holographic display showing human worlds under siege. "Your species has fought admirably for primitives, but surely you see the futility of continued resistance." The other human delegates shifted uncomfortably, but Diana remained motionless. "We see the situation clearly, General. The question is, whether you do." "Enlighten me," Corvin said, his tone dripping with condescension. Several of his officers chittered with laughter. Diana stepped forward. "3 days ago, your forces captured the crew of the destroyer Vigilant after they surrendered. 47 souls who laid down their arms and requested quarter according to the Galactic conventions of war. And?" Corvin's eyes narrowed. "Prisoners are expensive to maintain. Food, medical care, guards, resources better spent on conquest. You executed them." The words hung in the air like a blade. Corvin's expression shifted from amusement to irritation. They were combatants. Their fate was sealed the moment they chose to oppose the Empire. Diana's hands clenched briefly at her sides, before relaxing. "General, do you know what makes humans unique among the species you've conquered? Your stubborn refusal to accept reality? Our memory." Diana's voice grew quiet, almost conversational. "Every human child learns the stories. We remember the Alamo. We remember the Warsaw Ghetto. We remember Stalingrad and Normandy and Thermopylae. We remember what happens when someone crosses certain lines." Corvin waved dismissively. "Ancient history means nothing to galactic conquest." "Those 47 prisoners," Diana continued, "included Lieutenant James Park, age 23. His parents owned a small farm on New Dakota. Ensign Lisa Brown, 21, who wanted to be a teacher after her service. Chief Petty Officer Marcus Johnson, father of 3 girls who played soccer on weekends." "Your point, human?" Diana looked directly into Corvin's alien eyes. "My point is that you just made this personal for 3 billion humans. Every parent who lost a child, every child who lost a parent, every friend and lover and sibling, they all have names now, faces, stories, the General's laughter boomed through the chamber. "You threaten me with human emotion? Your feelings cannot overcome plasma cannons and orbital bombardments. Can't they?" Diana turned to Captain Torres, who stepped forward with a data pad. "General," Torres said, "while we've been talking, something interesting happened to your supply lines." The holographic display shifted, showing the star system around them. Red icons began appearing throughout the 3-dimensional map. Dozens, then hundreds. "What is this?" Corvin demanded, rising from his chair. "Freighters," Diana said calmly. "Supply ships, medical vessels, transports carrying food, ammunition, replacement parts, all the logistics that keep your war machine running." The red icons continued multiplying. Corvin's communications officer frantically worked at his console, receiving reports from across the sector. "Impossible," Corvin snarled. "Our shipping lanes are protected. We have patrol schedules, escort formations, which we've been monitoring for months." Admiral Kane interjected. "Human intelligence networks have been tracking your supply chains, mapping your routes, identifying vulnerabilities. We've been patient, watching, learning. Diana stepped closer to the holographic display. "See, General, you made one crucial mistake. You assumed that because we couldn't match your military might, we couldn't fight back effectively. But humans have been fighting asymmetric warfare for millennia." The display showed attack patterns spreading like wildfire through the Empire's logistics network. Small human ships, civilian vessels converted for war, and even some commandeered alien craft struck with surgical precision. "Guerrilla tactics," Dr. Williams explained. "Hit-and-run attacks, sabotage. Every human merchant who's been trading in neutral space, every colonist who learned to pilot mining equipment, every engineer who understands how to build explosives from common materials, they're all part of this now." Corvin's officers reported massive disruptions across 6 sectors: food shortages on garrison worlds, medical supplies failing to reach battle zones, ammunition convoys disappearing in hyperspace. "You coordinate all this from your pathetic remaining worlds?" Corvin asked. Diana smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. "General, you still don't understand. We don't coordinate it. When you executed those prisoners, you sent a message to every human in the galaxy, and they responded the way humans always do when you hurt our own." Lieutenant Hayes activated another display showing communication intercepts, thousands of EO, coded messages, underground networks, civilian groups organizing strikes and sabotage operations. "They're doing this themselves," Diana continued. "Every human trader who accidentally filed false shipping manifests. Every human worker on your conquered worlds who mistakenly programmed maintenance schedules wrong. Every human family that decided their revenge was worth more than their safety." The scope of the coordinated response became clear as reports flooded in. Not just military targets, but infrastructure, communications, even entertainment broadcasts were being disrupted by human civilians throughout Empire space. Corvin stared at the displays, his confidence evaporating. "This is impossible. No species coordinates like this without central command." "No species fights like humans when you make it personal," Diana replied. "You killed 47 of our people who surrendered in good faith. So now 3 billion humans have decided that every single supply ship, every depot, every logistics hub in your empire is a legitimate target. Not because we ordered them to, but because that's who we are." The general's communications officer reported that the disruptions were accelerating, spreading to sectors previously thought secure. Diana stepped back, her diplomatic demeanor returning. "So, General Corvin, shall we discuss terms for a ceasefire? Because right now, you have a choice. You can negotiate with us, the reasonable humans sitting at this table, or you can try to negotiate with 3 billion angry humans scattered across the galaxy who just learned what happened to the crew of the Vigilant." Corvin looked at the chaos spreading across his displays, then back at the calm woman standing before him. For the first time in his military career, the general felt something he had never experienced in battle: uncertainty. "What?" he asked quietly. "Are your terms?"